10-year-old boy says something that leaves both of his parents upset. He says, I love my dad. I like seeing my dad. I just don't want to stay over in the middle of the week anymore. So what should happen? Should the court make him continue? Should it respect his wishes? Or is there another solution entirely? Today we're going to find out. You Be the Judge. Episode 3. The Boy Who Didn't Want Midweek Contact. Before we begin, a quick reminder. The situations discussed in this series are inspired by real life issues that arise in the Family Court of England and Wales, but details have been changed and combined to protect privacy. Any similarity to any real person or case is entirely coincidental. This programme is for education and discussion only and is not legal advice. Okay, last time I gave you a difficult question. A 10-year-old boy had spent years seeing his father every other weekend and one night during the week. For years, it worked. And then something changed. The child started resisting the midweek overnight. At first it happened occasionally, then more frequently. Eventually, almost every week. The father was devastated. The mother said the child was simply getting older. The child himself said, I love my dad. I like seeing my dad. I just don't want to stay over in the middle of the week. So what happened? Let's find out. As the case progressed, the court wanted to understand one thing. Why? Why had this child suddenly started resisting the midweek overnight? Had something happened? Was there an argument? Was somebody influencing him? Was this the beginning of the relationship breaking down? Or was it simply a child growing up? The child was spoken to, statements were filed, information was obtained from school, and gradually a picture emerged. The child spoke positively about his father. He enjoyed spending time with him. He looked forward to the weekends. He wanted the relationship to continue, but he also said something else. The midweek overnight felt disruptive. He was getting older. He had football training. Homework was increasing. Friends were becoming much more important. He didn't like packing bags in the middle of the week. He didn't like feeling tired at school the next morning. Importantly, there were no safeguarding concerns, no allegations, no findings of harm, no evidence that either parent was influencing him. This wasn't a child rejecting a parent. This was a child saying, I still want my dad in my life, but this particular arrangement doesn't work for me anymore. So what did the court do? The judge decided that the midweek overnight should end. But that's not the same as saying that the father lost. Weekend contact remained. Holiday contact increased. The relationship with the father was protected. The court simply accepted that this child's needs had changed. And that's something family courts see all the time, because children don't stand still. What works at 5 may not work at 10. What works at 10 may not work at 15. Children grow. Their lives become busier. Their priorities change. And sometimes arrangements have to change too. One of the biggest myths in family law is the child decides. No, they don't. Another myth is the child doesn't get a say. That isn't true either. The reality sits somewhere in the middle. As children get older, their wishes and feelings often carry more weight. Frequently, when those wishes are thoughtful, consistent, and genuinely their own. Courts don't simply ask, what does the child want? They ask, why does the child want it? And that's a very different question. I've seen parents become absolutely heartbroken when a child starts resisting contact, and completely understandable. Many immediately think, someone must be turning them against me. Alienation. Sometimes that does happen, but very often it doesn't. Sometimes children are simply changing. I remember one case where a child suddenly became resistant to seeing his father during the week. Everyone assumed there must be a hidden reason. Eventually, it turned out he had joined a football team and just didn't want to miss training. That was it. No manipulation, no sinister explanation, just a child growing up. One of the hardest things about family law is accepting that a change in arrangements is not necessarily a rejection. Children can absolutely love a parent and still want different arrangements. I think that we sometimes forget that because as adults we tend to hear "I don't want to stay overnight" as "I don't want to see you." And that's hard. But those are two very different things. And in this case, the court recognised that difference. What can we learn from this? Well, the purpose of a child arrangement order isn't to freeze a child's life forever. It's to promote the child's welfare. And child's welfare changes. A 10-year-old's needs are different from a 6-year-old's. A 14-year-old's needs are different again. And sometimes maintaining a strong relationship means being flexible enough to adapt. Because forcing an arrangement that no longer works can sometimes create problems where none existed before. This brings us to today's dilemma. A mother and father separated when their daughter was very young. After years of court proceedings, a final order is made. The child will spend time with her father every other weekend. For 6 months, everything goes well. Then, one Friday evening, the child refuses to go. She cries. She says she doesn't want to leave home. The mother encourages her. The father arrives. The child becomes more upset. Eventually, contact doesn't happen. The next fortnight, exactly the same thing happens. Then it happens again. The father says the court made an order and it's being breached. The mother says, "I cannot physically force my daughter into a car." The father says, "You're not trying hard enough." The mother says making her go would only make things worse. The child is only 8 years old, and now everyone is back before the court. So here's the decision for today. If a child refuses to go, who is responsible? The parent, the child, or neither? Should the court enforce the order? Should it investigate further? Or should the arrangements change altogether? Please leave your answers in the comments down below, and next time you'll discover what happened. In the meantime, please like the video, subscribe, really helps me out, really appreciate it. But until then, you be the judge.